Welcome back to Mouse to House Campers. Today I'm going to be reviewing this lovely, one of my personal favourites, 2002 Autosleeper Clubman on the T4 chassis. And my trusty friend here, Dennis, is going to be doing some aerial footage, and I'll be passing on some tips. This particular one is for sale at campernerd.com. I'll pass you over now to Dennis. Thanks, Dennis, for that flyover. So here I'll step into my in-depth review, and here is one of my personal favourites of all time. It's the Autosleeper monocoque body. This particular one is the Clubman, extremely similar to the Gatcombe, just a little bit of variation on the inside trim. I wouldn't say one's better or worse, but the Gatcombe came out a little bit later. So yes, one of my favourites of all time. So you've got the combination of the VWT4 legendary chassis with the monocoque, which basically means one-piece fiberglass body. They had to stop selling these for a while because they were getting too expensive to make, and they couldn't compete with the cheaper European models. But Autosleeper kept going, as it were, against the industry norm, and that's why these are still commanding extremely nice prices in the marketplace, which is twofold a reason. So one, you've got the expense of making that one-piece fiberglass body shell, so it had to be shipped in one piece on site, no joins, basically an upside down boat, as I like to explain. So that's one part of why it was expensive to make. The other part was actually fitting it out. So with the conventional pieces that you can make in a factory, so they can prefab, as it were, and build away from one floor panel and one side panel, and then put it together in the factory. So you've got less man hours to do that, whereas these are all hand built, and as you can see, there's no joins, so everything had to be brought in individually through the window or the door and hand built inside. So a lot more man hours involved, but clearly it's paid off. The other thing to note, Autosleepers, I've been buying and selling vehicles for over 30 years, and this is why Autosleepers generally have so few owners. This one in particular has only had 2 owners, so it's a 2002 vintage. That makes it 17 years young, and it's only had the 2 owners, and generally the customer satisfaction of an Autosleeper is off the scale. So that's why they've generally had a few owners. So you've got to ask yourself questions if you do come across an Autosleeper with lots of owners, the reason why. There might be a few genuine reasons. Families have change of circumstances, families outgrow vehicles, but generally speaking in the industry, people tend to keep hold of their Autosleepers. So yeah, this actual one is for sale. If you just visit me on my eBay selling page or visit camperner.com, all the details will be up there. But I'll carry on with my generic Autosleeper review. So let's have a look under the bonnet. So yes, it's the Clubman, extremely similar to the Gatcombe. The Gatcombe just has a little bit different interior colour and interior trim. There's not one that I would say is better or worse, it's just down to personal choice. So yeah, this one is particularly well appointed and married up with the Audi 2.5 TDI engine. That's as good as a T4 will come. Nothing particularly wrong with the 1.9 power plant, the diesel or the petrols, but generally this is the one to have for brake horsepower and longevity. So we've got the locker cupboard there for the LPG or gas bottles, Cala Gas. There's room for 2 Cala Gas bottles. This is the propane, but you can also use butane. We're just changing the regulator there. Not much trouble to change the regulator. That's the Truma. That's for the hot water to be heated on gas if you're wild camping. This is a cover. I wish you had £1 for every vehicle I've supplied over the years, and the customer said we can't get the hot water to work, and all that's happened is they've left the winter cover over there, so of course it won't ignite or fire, so that's just removed. This is where all the toilet works out, so last customer's being particularly fussy. Yeah, made nice little labels. Oh, you made a little pink label and a green label. So the rhyme that we always remember is pink for the stink, which is the flush, or blue for the loo, or certain children can remember another word that rhymes with loo, and it ain't a number 1. But this one is green, so they've gone green because you now can get the blue in a green fluid. So the flush goes in there. You just press this button here, and I'm showing how easy it is with one hand on the video camera, and that comes out. This actually acts as a measuring device, so you can just undo that, put the fluid in there, so you don't need to see anything. I'll just lock that up. Put the keys back in the ignition. All double glazed plastic. Of course the toilet and shower area is frosted. So we've got the chrome ladders that go up the top. So the roof on these is strong enough to carry a top box or anything else you wish to carry. So we've got the industry standard, the Fiorma 2-bike carrier rack. We'll just unhook that. Just fold that back into place. So we've got the Vision Plus. That's the accessory there, and you can put a TV aerial, so you can attach a TV aerial here as high as you wish. You've got the inlet for the mains hookup. Can you believe that he's 17 years young? It's testament to the Autosleeper quality and brand. You've got the wastewater tap there. On the other side you've got the freshwater outlet. Little folding step. Freshwater inlet. Again, coming back to the T4s, a few things to look out for. The common faults, they can suffer just a little bit with rust or corrosion just here. A little bit on the corner here under the, no problem with this particular one, but just under the corner of the windows. That's another weak spot, is the petrol flap. For some reason they can get a little bit of corrosion, but it's isolated, so obviously you can get a new petrol cap or fuel cap. Generally quite solid, but if it's been at the side of a seaside, it's always worth checking underneath, prodding, having a look underneath the windows and the chassis. This particular one is very nice, no problem there. So I'll just recap on a little purchasing advice from last time. So I just was saying, just make sure the mileage, check up online, check everything marries up. Does the steering wheel look over shiny? Does the gear stick look over shiny? Has it been replaced? The foot pedals, do they match the mileage? This particular one's done 107,000 miles and still drives beautiful. So yeah, there's lots of little things to check. Very difficult to explain. I've been in the industry purchasing vehicles for 30 years. So normally I can sum up a vehicle and a gut feeling within a couple of minutes. Lots of little clues. Has it been smoked in? This one particularly hasn't. Is there any undue smells? As I say, the steering wheel. Lots of little things, that the amount of owners, is the service history stacked up? How long has the last owner had it? Not one particular thing is an immediate do not buy or must purchase, but all added together, all these incremental things can add up. So particularly the last owners clearly looked after this one. Lots of little clues. Another thing that I steer generally away from is when they've been over modified. Generally it's the younger generation who are modifying cars. They spend a lot of money to modify it and they take the value off the vehicle. I like to see them factory fresh and in stock, as it were. If you can imagine, Autosleepers of VW have invested millions of pounds to design this, and then somebody thinks they can modify it and buy some cheap parts online and improve it or increase the value. That's generally not the case. The last owners added a few little tweaks to this, which I'll show you, but they're generally in keeping with the vehicle. So let's step inside. Nice condition under the mats. So this is the 2-berth, or the 4-berth rather, or generally known as 2+2. So you've got the 2 single beds opposing each other there. The 2 front seats slide forward, these lift up, flop forward, and then up above there is infill cushions. So that creates 2 large, long single beds. Or of course, these 2 can be brought together, 2 little clips, very straightforward, literally within seconds, pull together. The back cushions then flop down behind, these come together, and that creates a massive queen size bed. Luxury on wheels. But this is 2+2, so it's got the 2-berth option above. Generally speaking, 2 large children, teenagers, most adults want to sleep down below. This last owner was only 2 people, so that happens a lot in this industry. Miss Daisy, so it's been named. So what they've done is added a TV, and really done a nice job actually. So they've added a little bit which can be removed for the sake of a few screws, so there's about 3 screws on the bottom of there, and what that's done is give them a little bit of space up there, down below, and it's created a bit of space over the cab, but you can still stand up here, so more space up there for the bedding, etc. But again, all the original factory cushions are still there, never been used. It's even got the lovely chrome Autosleeper genuine ladders that just come out of their sleeve, fold over, and any child or big child like me will be excited to get up those ladders and go to sleep up there. So yes, the last owner has a few little modifications, but yeah, not a bad job indeed. Added a few little hooks there. There's a couple of little hooks here, so presumably washing lines or extra curtains. There's certainly up here just 2 little hooks, 1 hook in the ceiling, so I would suggest washing, or when parked up you can use that as a coat hanger and a wardrobe. So they've gone to the trouble of adding this power bank in this particular one, and hasn't it been done nice? They've even labelled up all the plugs and sockets, TV booster, you got your new remote control there, all works. So this TV will work on 12 volt or 240. It will access the rear TV aerial, or you've got an extra cable that you can put a cable or satellite box here, or an outside input. It's got a DVD player on one side. It's got a SCART USB input and folds nicely out the way. So let's close the leisure door. So typical of Autosleeper, no fancy electronic boards, very straightforward, on and off. So we've got the leisure battery on, and the only other switch is for the pump. So the water pump, we'll just demonstrate that first. So there's the all important kitchen sink. Hot water, cold. Well, we've got the pump in operation. There's an LED light there to say that the water pump is on and off. So industry standard fittings. This is the Whale system. Hot water, cold. See if we can do the shower. It's a bit tricky with one hand. There we go. I'll just fold in that sink back up there. That clips like follows. Overmat over the shower. Thetford toilet, it's all been sanitised. Frosted window, with a fly net, as well as a blackout. Complete wet room. Let's check all the lights. So we've got 12 volt lights there. We've got reading lights. These are adjustable 12 volt reading above the front cab in the centre. Yep, you won't be short of lights. With it being an Autosleeper, all these are available in stock. So with every Autosleeper, they all come with a job number, which is the Autosleeper chassis. Normally, generally in the glove box. Let's have a look in the glove box. Lo and behold, there it is. So all you do is ring up Autosleeper. They've been at the same factory for 50 years. just quote the Autosleeper job number and the chassis, and they will be able to pinpoint the date and manufacture and the build, and everything is readily available off the shelf. So it's the late T4, it's got power steering, and that's about it. Wind up windows, will the younger generation know what those are? There's no air conditioning, no satellite navigation, no CD player. What is that? I'll leave you of a certain generation, you know who you are, me included. We know what that is. Lovely matching curtains. So yeah, just an observation, a comment on the Autosleeper upholstery. It has been, I wouldn't say accused, but some people have turned their nose up at Autosleeper upholstery and said, oh, it's a bit dated and old-fashioned. Used such a crude term as old-fashioned. I'd like to think that it's classic. It's not a coincidence that these went for years and are still going. The fabric and upholstery was always done at Premier Furnishings in Derby, who have been doing the Autosleeper and Motorhome particularly upholstery for years. And what they don't know about quality and upholstery is second to none. They really know what they're doing. The upholstery is still available. It's just second to none for quality of craftsmanship, the zips, the lines. Look at those buttons, can you? That's 17 years old. And all the upholstery is beautiful. But of course that's just my opinion, but it's also the opinion of a lot of Autosleeper people who buy these. I've seen some shocking examples where people think they're improving them, have removed the upholstery and they've gone modern, in inverted commas, and they've made a right mess. You'll never see me supply one of those vehicles. So typical of Autosleeper, craftsmanship here, wood, no MDF, no plastic, everything just operates, just click, clunk, off we go, and down, everything just fits. The only thing I would criticise, this is one of my things, is these particular little weak points that the plastic finish on these buttons and rosettes can wear out with time. So I have these in stock at any one time, and I couldn't dread to imagine supplying one of these vehicles and letting that down. So on every vehicle, or Autosleeper generally, I will put new buttons and rosettes on every single fixing. Same with the wine cabinet knob. I always put a new one on there. Oh, it's still got the original wine glasses and some cutlery. So we've got the reading lights here, but you can have an override switch, so you could put them all on, and then there's an override switch here. Mains supply with a 12-volt supply, so you can just put any accessory there, and that's the 12-volt. Again, it's got blackout blinds and fly nets to every window, fully open in here to the side. So this one boasts a gas fire, the Trumatic gas fire, which effectively is central heating because you've got the gas central heating from there, but you've also got on this side that can be blown air, so you can push the air through to the central heating here or into the shower room. You can also use that fire on mains electricity, so we just switch it on here if you're plugged in on mains, and we've got 3 different heat settings. You've got the Truma Ultra Store, that's basically to heat the water up when you're wild camping on gas. So we just switch it on, that green light little thing, and that'll fire into place. If that goes to red, switch off, check that the cover is removed. If that's the case, try it again. If it's still going to red, take it into a service. The last owner has added on this a mirror. That wasn't supplied by Autosleeper, so yeah, it's in keeping. Not a bad job at all. Wardrobe. On the inside is all the Autosleeper safety instructions. You've got the mains fuse box. You've got the mains override for the heater. So unless you haven't got that switch on, when you've got on mains, that'll turn red, and then you're able to use the heater on electricity. So factory standard Fiorma legs. So you've got 2 legs here. So they go into 2 places there. In fact, the last owner has made a bit of carpet to go over. So you've got there, you've got one in there, and one there, and one there. So you can have, you've got the Autosleeper. Let's see if I can just wind the window, wind the front seat. So you've got a small table. Look at that. 17 years old and just like new. So you've got that, the small one. You've also got the large one. So they're made in such a way that you can have the small and the large together. So absolutely massive table. Or of course you can choose the little or the large. You can also get an accessory from Fiorma, about £20, and that's just a leg for the bottom of accessory for the bottom of the leg here, and then you could use a table outside. So there's your wardrobe. That's the chimney stack. So from your gas fire, the flue, all the way up to the chimney on the roof. Always check these areas out when you're purchasing. Because it's a single fiberglass body, monocog, generally, and I use the word very few times you'll ever get a leak. The only leak or problem you could get on an Autosleeper is from this chimney stack area. It's still got to have a solvent and a sealer on the small chimney, or from the window. Other than that, that's all you've got to check on these Autosleepers. So I've shown you the kitchen sink. Let's have a look at the cooker. There's a clip there. Fold that up there. That up there, that down there, and there we have the 2 gas burner hob. Let's see, under the cupboards there. So I haven't brought my gas lighter, but I can assure you these work. Nice blue flames, that's what we're looking out for. So that goes in there. You might be able to hear the gas. That's what we're looking out for, a nice blue flame in the grill pan, spotless. Just safety cable there. That comes into the cooker area. Again, I have checked this particular one and everything's working as it should do. Under storage, so we've got the gas safety cut-offs. So if it was playing on your mind with the gas switched on, you don't have to go outside to switch the gas off the gas bottle. You can immobilise it on these. That's oh, that's a shower mat. Last owner's left a shower mat in. So I'll just fold that cooker top. Look at the fixings on that. Click, clunk, beautiful. They certainly don't make them like they used to. So the Electrolux 3-way fridge. So we got the mains. Generally you can leave these both on I've never had a problem. Just leave them in the on position. That means it will all be taken care of automatically. So when you're driving, the fridge will fridge up and cool on 12 volts. As soon as you put it on the main site and hook up with the mains electricity, that will light up green and the fridge will work off the mains. That's the thermostat for the electricity side. And then you've got the gas side. Again, thermostat for the gas when you're wild camping. So we just have this in the off position, put it in the flicking position, so that's the igniter. Leave that in the igniter. Lots of people make the mistake of switching that off once it's ignited. I'll explain why. So we just turn that, push that in, turn it round. That now has ignited as it stopped sparking. We hold this in for a few seconds, let go. If that starts sparking again, that means that the light's gone out. So switch the gas off, leave it 30 seconds to a minute, try again. Try that 3 times. If not, go into a service centre and have it checked out. It just normally needs a service and a blow off of built up dust off the burner module. So generally that's left in the on position, and the reason being, if you get an influx of wind from the outside, it gusts the pilot light out. Very tricky to show you the pilot light, but trust me, it's on there. If the pilot light goes out and you're inside or asleep, a gust of wind, that will be trickling a little bit of gas. Again, it's a double safety measure by Autosleeper because it's fully ventilated. You shouldn't have any problem. But by leaving the sparker on, should the light go out, that will respark automatically. So we're just going to demonstrate that. So we're just going to switch the gas off, and that would be effectively the same as a gust of wind. And off she goes sparking again. So that'll relight it. So you've got the freezer compartment, that's getting sub-zero and frosty cold. You can possibly see a little bit there on my finger. Nice and clean. So we've got 2 clips here. So generally it's magnetic. That will magnetise there, hold fairly firm when you're driving. If you want to have the reassurance, you can click it in there on the fully closed function. But if you're leaving it stored for any amount of time, just put it on the first one. Push that button down into the first catch, there we go. That just leaves a little space here, and that can aerate. So you're not going to come back to any not nasty smells or mildew or mould. So it's got 2 roof lights. We've got the midge nets again. You just push these little clips here, and it pops up. Same for the rear one. They also have blackouts. These are the industry normal standards, so these are readily available from any good motorhoming or caravan accessory stores. Again, just pop up from that. Fire extinguisher. So we'll just switch the pump off. And then we'll switch the 12 volt leisure battery off, which incidentally I'm not sure whether I showed you is stored underneath there. So the difference between a leisure battery and a standard battery or a car battery, a leisure battery doesn't suffer the same problems if it's continually drained down to flat or 0% as it were. It will come back to life. It will go through more cycles than a normal engine battery. So yes, there we have it. An Autosleeper 2002 vintage Clubman. I'll just do a little quick walk round. I'm sure you're fed up of listening to my voice. I'll have a little drive in it. Dennis will do the filming, a little bit of footage. And I'll catch you for a short while at the end of this video. And I'll see you on the next Camper Nerd review. I've got 2 in the pipeline, a Nissan El Grande. That's a top of the range Japanese import, petrol, 3.5 V6 petrol, and I've also got the other extreme is a Citroen Berlingo micro camper. So anyone wishing to use the vehicle as an everyday vehicle but wants to have a camper van, and this one, believe it or not, is as near as to a TARDIS as you will get, as it has a full 6'10" bed, 2 berth, but in the size of a micro camper, a Citroen Berlingo. And I do mean a Citroen Berlingo, not the Roma Home that has a extra body on it or height. This is the exact same vehicle as a Citroen Berlingo. So that's up and coming in the next few days. Let's have a little drive. Over to you, Dennis. So thanks for that, Dennis. So I hope you enjoyed my video today of this 2002 VW Clubman. One of my personal favourites of all time. The classic shape, the classic vehicle. I'll welcome any comments down below. And anyone that's not subscribed to my channel, feel free, and you'll be notified of any new forthcoming videos and future tips and buying advice. Till next time, folks.